Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Robert Adams, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Major Lindsay Freeman. This evening, we are honoured to acknowledge Miss Erica Olson, Charge d'Affaires ad interim for the United States in Australia, Admiral Samuel Paparo, United States Navy Commander, US Indo-Pacific Command, accompanied by Admiral David Johnston, Chief of the Defence Force, and their accompanying delegation. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors to the memorial and students on behalf of St Bede's School visiting from Balwyn North in Victoria. If you are able, I now invite you to please stand and join in singing the national anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. With golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is got by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Students and visitors who are able to do so, you may now please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us during war and on operations over more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private Phillip George Wilkins. Known as George, he was born on the 1st of August 1891 to James George Wilkins and Martha Ann Nee Thomas. He grew up in Narangol, Victoria, where he attended the local state school. By the time the First World War began, George Wilkins was working as a farmer and was a student of theology at the Chapman Alexander Bible Institute and preparing for life as a minister. He also worked around his local parish as a preacher. He was known locally as an earnest worker and a highly regarded member of the community. Wilkins's family was very patriotic, and his mother Martha became the secretary of the Narangol branch of the Red Cross. Despite opposition from his church, Wilkins enlisted for service in the AIF at Geelong on the 5th of June 1916. After several months of training, he was allotted to the 8th Reinforcements to the 59th Infantry Battalion. He embarked from Melbourne on the 16th of December 1916 aboard the transport ship Medic bound for England. After arriving in mid-February, he was sent to the 15th Brigade Training School at Herdcott. More training followed before George Wilkins was sent to France in early July. A month later, he was taken on strength of the 59th Battalion and joined 9 Platoon Charlie Company. On the 26th of August, he was evacuated sick, but recovered quickly, returning to the battalion 2 weeks later. Wilkins took part in his only major battle at the end of the month at Polygon Wood. The 59th Battalion took part in stopping a German attack against adjacent British units on the 25th of September. As part of the 15th Brigade, the 59th not only captured its own objectives the following day, but also those of the British units that had been attacked the day before. The following month, he was sent to the 1st Anzac Corps Bombing School. He returned to his unit in November, but ill health continued to plague him, and 6 weeks later was evacuated sick again. He did not return to the battalion until the end of January 1918. By mid-March, the 59th Battalion were behind the lines at Rossignol Camp near Camel after a stint in the front line near Messines. Despite being out of the line, the battalion was still within range of the German guns. The 21st of May started off with the 59th Battalion being put on alert during the early hours after an attempted German raid. By the time the battalion resumed normal duties by 9 a.m, the day was fine and warm. Wilkins was assisting with planting a crop of potatoes at a farm nearby the battalion when a single German shell landed nearby, shrapnel smashing into his right thigh. Wilkins's right leg, according to one eyewitness, was practically blown off. He was reported to have said, "I've got a sure Aussie," before he was evacuated by stretcher bearers. He was placed into an ambulance to be taken to the No. 2 casualty clearing station, but during the journey, George Wilkins died. He was laid to rest in the Untersteiner Communal Cemetery Extension at Bellevue. He was 27 years old. His name is listed on the honour roll on my right, among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Phillip George Wilkins, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
He shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary him, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozieres or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support during the Memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.